Welcome to Australia. I know you've been over in Melbourne, but welcome to New South Wales.
Yeah.
Now, you've been coming into Australia and teaching, doing your clinics for a fair few number of years.
I've had quite a break actually. I used to do them in the, I think, 80s and
Right.
early 90s, and then I haven't come until about 3 years ago. And then this is the third year consecutive that I've been back.
Okay. And why do you come? I mean, you're halfway around the world. Do you like Australia as a country as well, or do you get much chance to sort of do any sightseeing, or is it all about just trying to put your ideas
I do enjoy travelling, and I've got a lot of friends here. Having been married to David all those years, I've got a lot of friends in Australia who still are mates, and I sort of realised that I actually wasn't seeing them anymore. So I thought, well, let's see if anybody wants to put on some clinics, and they've been fantastic. And I've got one in Melbourne, one in Sydney, one in Brisbane, one in Perth, and now 3 in New Zealand. So it's really fun, and I can tell you I'm really happy because February is being completely revolting at home. It's even I gather the Black Sea, which is salt, has frozen. It's not the English Sea, it's a Russian sea, but if that's frozen, it must be really cold.
So nice here, although we did get quite a lot of changes in weather here today for you.
Warm. It doesn't matter. A bit of rain didn't hurt.
So tell me about the idea behind your clinic. You're obviously very focused on safe riding.
Yeah. I love cross country. That's what I'm passionate about. It's always been a bit of a struggle to get the old dressage and show jumping sorted. And I'm fascinated to feel the cross country through the eyes of the horse. And as somebody said, well, how do you know? Well, I don't know. But you sort of feel, after I suppose having ridden an awful lot, and I still do ride, you sort of feel what a horse is thinking, and you can see what a horse is thinking, to be honest. And so what I'm trying to do is give the horses a chance to do their bit, because they are incredibly willing, they're wonderfully brave, provided they are given the chance to learn their job. And half that is make sure they have a chance and time to see their fences and time to work out what they have to do. So it's that sort of feeling that I'm trying to impart, because as we draw further and further away from when horses were an intrinsic part of our existence, i.e. there weren't any cars, we're drawing 4, 5, 6 generations away from that now. There's less and less horsemen coming into the sport, and there's more and more of the slight feeling of you switch on the motorbike and off you go. So what I'm trying to do is make people realise what an incredible influence your own body weight has on the horse's ability to jump and confidence, and how much he needs to be able to look and understand and work out what the job is ahead. And I think it's best summed up by saying a green horse is like a child, and he needs time to read his book, which has got big letters and short words, and it takes him quite a long time to read. And a good horse has gone 5, 6 years through the ranks and he's up the top end. He's like somebody who can read a paperback in 40 minutes. He's just a speed reader. He can come around the corner, work it out and jump it. And that's what I want people to understand, the progression and how long it takes.
Okay. And it was certainly interesting to see how in these days where everything tends to be very technical in the cross-country courses and everything's very precise, that you spoke about distances out there. There are no distances, you just ride it as it comes up.
Yeah, I think being very precise and learning how to ride distances is very much a necessary part of the education of both event horse and rider. But where I feel we fail our horses, and to that extent our riders, is to help the horse burnish his own innate and incredible ability to look after himself. And we almost will never take it out of him completely because he's instinctive, but we almost take it away from him by being so dominant and so meticulous, which probably stems from having to be so damn good at the dressage now, which is a more dominating part of the sport. And I have a huge belief that a horse is a brilliant animal and will get you out of goodness knows what, provided you've trained him to think for himself. I mean, he thinks for himself anyhow, but provided you've allowed him to think for himself and you've burnished that ability, and you haven't just straitjacketed his brain into being on the bit and taking a 12-foot stride. So it's just the reason I throw these fences all over the place, and they're skinny, so the rider has to ride a focused line and don't worry about striding, and nothing's big. I mean, what are we talking about? 2'6", 3 foot if their horse is at a higher level, is because then the riders have no time to see a stride because the fences are happening one after the other in different lines and turns, and the horse has got to learn to be really quick with his feet. And footwork and focus to me, along with the other F, which is fun, are the three most important things when you're training a horse. And I don't think footwork is sufficiently understood worldwide. People just think horses can only do a stride. Of course they can't, they can do anything, but we have to allow them to practice doing that, and that's why I don't want to do distances in the particular training that I'm doing, but in another day's training doing something else, go and do it, because it all, you know, the many different aspects make up the whole.
And who do you continuously get inspiration from other people, or are you have your ideas and you're very comfortable in now what you're teaching, or do you still see things these days that makes you think, now that's a good idea?
Definitely. I love talking to people who are in the top level about it, and I love putting my thoughts and then having them putting theirs and disagreeing with me, and then seeing where I go from there, because heavens, none of us know it all. So I really enjoy it, and I'm finding over the time, I'm starting to hear, I heard David and Karen O'Connor went to New Zealand for their Equitana in November, and they did a display of cross-country training, and the word kept coming through, the horse has got to think for himself. Now that has not been a part of people's teaching up until the last few years. So for me that is wonderful. I don't care whether it's me that started it or them that started it, it doesn't matter who started. The point is it's out there, and that is wonderful, because that to me is what will turn around this awful volley of deaths that we've had in the last 12 years. If we can, within this enormously skilled education in the dressage, where, let's face it, a horse does have to listen to you every single split second, if we can help people to realise that you have to cross a bridge when you go to cross country, a metaphorical bridge, whereby you allow the horse to take some initiative, then I think we'll be doing the sport a huge service. So hearing that coming back from two of the greatest exponents in the world, that you must allow a horse to think for himself, was absolute gold dust. So I'm hoping that will develop.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.